All right, hello. Thanks everyone for taking time out of your day to come join us and learn about the Innovative Mound project we are currently working on and will be working on for the next few years. My name is Steve Griffith. I'm with HMTV. We are a engineering and transportation firm that Macomb County has hired to help deliver this exciting project. So with that, I'm going to run through a quick presentation on kind of the project, where we're at, where we started, and how we've progressed to date. And kind of then we'll discuss about where we're going and how this project will impact you during construction, and then how it'll improve things after we're complete. So this is a quick overview of what we'll be doing. I'll go through an overview. We'll discuss the project schedule. I'll give an update on the status of some of the major tasks included in this project. We'll talk about our extensive communication plan we have for Mound Road. Then some access and operation improvements we're looking at, and then construction oversight. So on Mound Road, this project actually really got underway back in 2016. Macomb County had recognized that they had a long-term maintenance problem with Mound Road, and based on the funding available for the county, they didn't have the necessary means to really go out and reconstruct Mound Road. They were spending approximately $3 to $4 million a year, every year, on Mound, just on maintenance. So when they started to look at how to address that long-term and fix the road going forward, they started looking at the cost estimate for that. They realized that they needed some additional support other than the county revenue to really drive this project home. So with that, they outreach to local businesses. They're partners with the City of Warren and the City of Sterling Heights to put together a team to really go and lobby for some additional funding for this project. So in 2017, they went to Washington and applied for an infra grant. Then in 2018, they were awarded an infra grant for about $98 million to fund a portion of this project. The remaining portion of the job is being funded by both the county and the cities of Warren and Sterling Heights. So in 2018, recognizing the size of the project and the scope and just what kind of an undertaking a project of this size is, they decided to outreach and look for partners outside of the county, large transportation infrastructure firms to support some of that. That's when they hired HMTV to help with some of their owner's rep tests. We are helping with the planning and design of this project as we take it through to construction. So we got on board in about 2019. From there, we have signed the infra grant term sheet and taken it into phase 2, where we've really started some of the planning and design of this project. So right now we anticipate having the job out for a contractor to bid this job in December of 2020, with contractors selected in April of 2021 and construction starting in the summer of 2021 right now. We anticipate construction running through to the end of 2023, and then there'll be some minor like punch list type work and pavement marking restoration type work that extends into 2024. But the majority of construction will be completed at the end of 2023. So this is the project area map. The project limits are from 696 up to M59. It's a full reconstruct of the roadway. In addition to that, we are widening out Mound Road. It's currently 3 lanes in each direction from 17 Mile north to M59. So we'll widen that out and add a 4th lane in each direction. That'll give a consistent 4-lane per balance section through the entire corridor. So as part of the scope of this project, we are reconstructing 9 miles of concrete pavement. Additionally, we're adding that 4th lane in each direction from 17 Mile to M59. We are improving traffic operations and safety. Part of our project is we're doing a full traffic study of the corridor, looking at the operation and function of the corridor, whether that's driveway locations or location of the crossovers and turnarounds along the corridor. And I'm looking at ways to improve traffic flow by either realigning some of those or condensing driveways and access management. We are looking at traffic signal modernization throughout the corridor, either mass arms or new signals. Drainage improvements. We'll also be doing upgraded pavement markings and signing throughout the corridor. Then we'll have improved lighting along the corridor, looking at trying to move the lighting into that median and have a consistent lighting throughout Mound Road. and then improving non-motorized and pedestrian access along the corridor as well. So it's a large scope of work. Part of those outcomes is we'll have that improved pavement surface. As many of you know as residents or commuters along this road, Mound Road was in a pretty bad state of repair, or disrepair I should say, for a long time. So really, the real intent of this project is really fix that road surface and make sure that you have a long-lasting concrete pavement, only requiring minor maintenance throughout the life cycle of that. We'll be looking at ways to improve traffic flow throughout the corridor. You have some bottlenecks along the corridor now, some access problems that I think we can address and really improve traffic flow in the corridor. Enhanced landscaping along the corridor, giving some and improved just aesthetics within the corridor. Unified lighting, we'll have improved pedestrian access. In addition to that, looking at ways to connect transit. Right now, we're not looking at adding any mass transit along Mound Road, but SMART has a main thoroughfare on Van Dyke Road, so looking at ways to connect pedestrians to Van Dyke and utilize that SMART system that's in place there now. And then we're looking at, in addition to that, some innovative technology for emerging mobility and connected vehicles. We're reaching out with partners at Ford, Chrysler, GM, and then some other pioneers in kind of the connected vehicle technology, and looking at ways to implement that into Mound Road and really make this project a spotlight for what you can do technology-wise along the corridor. So this is kind of an overview of the project schedule. I know there's a lot on there and it's kind of blurry, but really what we have is we have about 5 major tasks right now that we're kind of working through as we take this project through to procurement. We have ongoing stakeholder engagement. We're out meeting public and stakeholder engagement. We're out meeting with communities. We're out meeting with large businesses, homeowner associations, neighborhoods, to really kind of inform people of what to expect of the project, and then look at ways, looking at feedback for what issues you have and how we can look at addressing some of the concerns with Mound Road. As part of that, after this presentation and some Q&A, there are some roll plots out of the corridor in the middle tables there. If anybody has a few minutes and they know of any areas or concerns they have with the corridor, if you want to take time to write those concerns on the post-it note and stick it on there, those are things that we'll be looking at and trying to evaluate and address those concerns as we work through kind of the planning and design of this project. We also have a planning portion of the project to meet the National Environmental Protection Agency requirements. That also includes our traffic planning. We have an engineering task that's ongoing as well that includes scoping the project and then developing plans for a 30% design. And then we have a procurement team that will work on taking that engineering design and developing design build books for a contractor. One of the innovations that's already incorporated in the project is we will be letting the job as a design build project as opposed to a design bid build. That delivery method is proven to save time and money on projects. So one of the first things we did once we were on board was look at innovative ways to deliver the project as well. And design build delivery method is proven to be innovative both in delivery method as well as cost savings and schedule savings. So this is an overview of our project team right now working. H&TV put together a team of about 14 local sub-consultant firms as well that are working with us that are experts in their specific areas. So our team we report to Macomb County is leading this effort, and they have partners with the City of Sterling Heights and the City of Warren. So our team is working on really delivering those major tasks. We have an engagement lead, Nate Ford, who's I'm sure is roaming around here somewhere, kind of spearheading our public engagement efforts. We have a project readiness team that's out. They were doing the initial survey, as well as some utility investigation work and some geotechnical work. Really make sure that we we identify the existing conditions of that roadway, provide accurate information to that design build contractor. We have a planning team that's tasked with going through and doing planning to make sure we meet all the requirements of the Environmental Protection Agency. With this project being federally funded, we are required to meet the regulations of the EPA for the project, so something to note. They're also doing the traffic planning for the project as well. We have an engineering team that is tasked with developing 30% plans for this project and then helping to feed into some of the project requirements. And then a procurement and systems engineering, or a systems engineering and mobility team that is working on some of that emerging mobility technology and working with ways to really make this a national showcase for technology and for transportation within the region. So this is a brief update of where we're at today. Part of our major task right now is working through kind of the planning and the environmental compliance of this project. There are really 3 different classifications for a project. That would be either a categorical exclusion, which is kind of the lowest impacts to residents in the community in the area. We have an environmental assessment and then an EIS. As we've kind of worked through this project to date, we've determined that we meet the qualifications for a categorical exclusion, which is good. That allows us to kind of move forward quickly with the delivery of this project. So as part of that, we've gone through, and there's numerous resource studies we have to do as part of that categorical exclusion. So one of the things we've looked at is the ecology in the corridor, really looking at wetland and streams, and then how this project will impact those, as well as any threatened and endangered species that may be in the area. We are doing a cultural resource study for the corridor and making sure we're not impacting any historical or culturally significant areas. We're also doing air and noise analysis as well. Those will start in the spring as we kind of finalize the road alignment and where the new crossovers and drives will go. We have contaminated material studies, so we've gone out and done borings, and we're going to continue doing borings to locate any potential contaminated materials within the corridor and make sure we have means for the contractor to address those materials. We have a community economic and land use study that we've done, just making sure that we're not having any impacts, any parks, churches, anything along those lines. And then an environmental justice study that's part of making sure that we're not adversely impacting any underrepresented communities. So as we work through this, that will lead to finalizing our NEPA report, which is the environmental impact assessment that will go to MDOT and FHWA for overall approval sometime later this year. The other main piece of the planning is doing the traffic study. So as part of that, we developed 2 traffic models for the corridor, a VISTA model and a Synchro model. Those just allow us to do a thorough analysis of traffic conditions. So we're looking at the roadway conditions now and traffic volumes now. And then we've taken that model to like a 30-year projection of what traffic will look like along Mound Road 30 years from now, and where you'll have areas of concern, whether delays or safety issues. That allows us to then develop a design that addresses those issues. So as we've identified hotspots, either safety-wise or congestion hotspots, we've looked at ways to improve those, improve either the geometry of the road or access along the road, location of crossovers. Then we take those, what we've developed as those potential fixes, we plug that into the model, and then that allows us to see how it impacts and improves traffic flow throughout the corridor. So we're working through kind of our 3rd progression of identifying areas of potential correction and really finalizing that now. So as we kind of are working through wrapping up our mobility study, traffic operations study. As part of that as well, we're doing access management improvements along the corridor. So we've met with some of the businesses and some stakeholders as well to where we've identified areas where there may be overlapping or driveways that are not in the optimal areas. Looked at maybe consolidating drives, reducing the number of drives, and access points along the corridor just to improve traffic flow. So we are currently working through finalizing some of those access improvements as well. So this is just an overview of kind of the access management process. What we did is we identified areas where the locations either don't meet standards or where you have driveways that are too close to crossovers. Through that, we've started engaging those property owners. To date, we've held 2 access management meetings within the community and open houses. And then as we work through those, we're explaining how improvements can be made to the corridor by really looking at improving the access management. And now that we've gone through that, we're looking at kind of finalizing the design and location of some of the driveways along the corridor. Another one of the major tasks we've completed as part of this project is the project readiness. We've completed majority of the survey to date. We've gone out, we've established control throughout the corridor, developed a 2D model, and right now we're working on finalizing a 3D model for the entire corridor that will then be provided as a reference document to the design builder. We have geotechnical investigations ongoing as well. We've completed a lot of the pavement coring and geotechnical borings just to get to have a better understanding of the pavement and underlying base material that's out there today. That just allows us to provide a better design as we move forward. And then this spring we'll be out doing structure borings for any of the potential bridge work as part of this project. In addition to that, we've gone out and done a preliminary investigation for potential areas of contamination along the corridor. And later this spring, we'll be out doing surveying borings of any of those locations where we think there's any contaminated materials. And one of the major tasks we're working through right now is utility investigation. There's 23 different utility companies located within the corridor right now. So we've outreached to them. We are working through receiving as-built plans from them and identifying any potential utility conflicts we see in the future. As we're looking and identifying those, we're going out and identifying locations where we may have missing utility information as well. Going out and we've done some subsurface utility investigation for those, just identifying those utilities in the field so that we're reducing utility conflicts and concerns during construction. That'll reduce cost and save time once we transition into construction. And also eliminate any unknown utilities that get hit in the field and result in power outages or any service interruptions. So we're really out trying to positively identify all utilities in the corridor. So for engineering to date, we've completed condition assessments for the roadway and the bridges in the corridor as well. We are finalizing our geometry and traffic modeling. We are working on our vertical alignment right now for the roadway and developing a 3D cross section for the road. Finalizing pavement cross sections and then working towards finalizing that 30% design. Hydraulics, we've done condition assessments for all of the county drains in the corridor. We've actually had staff go out, walk those drains and note conditions of them, identifying areas of repair. We're working through capacity reviews now for all that storm sewer in the corridor, and then starting to work towards developing and meeting permit requirements. For the bridges, right now there are 6 bridges located within Mound Road in the corridor itself, so we've gone out, we've done condition assessments of all those bridges to determine what fixes are required. We're finalizing scoping reports for those now, and then we'll be taking the bridge design to a 30% plan level. Cost estimating, we've developed a initial cost estimate for the project. That will be, as we kind of work through design of the project, we'll look to refine that cost estimate and really hone in on how much this project's going to cost. That information will then be incorporated into the design build books that will lead to contractors bidding this project out and finalizing design, starting construction. So for engineering and systems mobility, one of the things that we're doing as part of this project is we've really reached out to our partners on a national level, and we've developed an innovation council as part of that with our partners in the technology realm, and then with the connected vehicle and the big 3 that we have working right here in the corridor. We've reached to them to really meet on a monthly basis and really look at ideas that we can incorporate into this project to make this project really, we're looking at an opportunity to make this a roadway of the future so that we have the ability to look at utilizing the corridor for connected vehicle technology and a real-world testing implementation of some of that connected vehicle use. So as part of that, we've met with those industry leaders in transportation, and we have the Innovation Council, which has led to the development of an innovation register. So we've kind of looked at all the big ideas we can utilize and incorporate into this project. And as we kind of work through the design of it now, we are starting to determine which one of those innovations are feasible and which ones are not likely to be something incorporated in this project. So we're working through that now to kind of take that through to procurement. Part of the, one of the innovations in this project is it's a design build project. So this slide kind of shows the difference between a traditional design bid build and then a design build. What you see on the top slide is for a traditional design bid build, the final design is completed and then you put the project out to bid. then a contractor is selected and begins construction. With the design build project, you have overlap between the final design and construction. So we take the project to a preliminary design level, then we put it out for bid. Contractor team with an engineer, design builder, they will submit bids for that project, and then once awarded, they'll begin design and take that design through final completion and construct the project as well. What it does is it allows some overlapping between design and construction as well. And it also incorporates some of the innovations a contractor may have for developing or for really constructing the project that allows for them to include those innovations into their bid and really lower the cost of the project overall. So it has proven to really reduce the overall duration of a project and reduce the cost as well. So as part of that, we'll have a two-step process utilizing MDOT's model for design build procurement. So we'll put out a statement of qualifications to the design build firm, to the industry to submit qualifications. From that point, we will shortlist those qualifications down to 3 teams. And then from there, we will issue RFP to those teams. They'll have about 3 months, 4 months to kind of put together a plan for how to build a job and submit a bid for that. And then it'll be low bid. So the contractor that submits the lowest price will win the project. Part of the benefits of that as well is it transfers risk over to from the owner over to the design build contractor. So it limits the number of claims and cost overruns on the project as well. And then it really allows for innovations to be incorporated into the project. So this slide also shows kind of the difference in how the design build team is set up. You have an engineer and a design build contractor who really are the design build team. So they'll have their own engineer of record for the project. So another major part of our project is communication. So we've really been out since HTV was brought on board. We've been out working with the county to really meet with a lot of these stakeholders, residents and motorists that drive along Mound Road daily. So part of our overview is really, we don't want to just hear from you, but we want to be engaged. We're looking for ways to really get information from the end user and look at ways to implement that and include that into the project. So when we're communicating with people along the corridor, we're not just listening and not following back. We'll be responding back, looking at your ideas and looking at ways to really incorporate them into the project. So some of the key messaging right now from the project is we really are focused on safety and innovation. You know, safety is key we want to improve the safety of the motorists, pedestrians, the residents along Mound Road. And we're looking at ways to be innovative, looking at ways to either save costs or build a corridor that is really future flexible. We're looking at, this is a major investment for the county, so we're looking at ways to make sure that they get that return on their investment, looking at ways to make sure that this project, when we build it, we're building it right, and we're building it to last, so that, you know, as we're working through and inconveniencing the motorists with construction, that, you know, we won't be back in 5 years. We're building it correct. And then impact, we really want to look at ways to limit the impacts to the people, residents, and the stakeholders along that corridor. So part of our communication tools right now is, I'm sure as you kind of walk around the room and see some of the information on here, all of this information will be included on the Innovate Mound website. But we do have a project website dedicated for this job that is updated routinely. We also send out newsletters monthly. If anyone's interested in getting on the newsletter list, you can we can follow up with you via our communication team here. You can reach out to Nate or myself, and we can get you added to that listserv for newsletters that are sent out monthly. Part of our, in addition to our newsletters and our website, we also have routine stakeholder meetings. We're out meeting with some of the larger stakeholders and then small businesses as well, community groups, HOV or homeowner associations. Working with our partners at the City of Sterling Heights and the City of Warren to really try to reach out to all the different community groups along the corridor. We have the newsletter, and we also have social media and email news blast. Then additionally, as most of you have probably received, we're sending out mailers for specific events. We'll have a second open house as we kind of get closer to end of the year this year, and we're finalizing design of the project. We also have a 24/7 hotline for the project. It's 1-855-MOUND for you. So if ever there's any questions or any information you need on the project, you can call that hotline. leave a voicemail, and then someone will return a call or follow up with you in 24 to 48 hours usually is what our turnaround time is. So that kind of leads into construction. Right now, as we're working through the preliminary design, we're kind of taking things into construction. Right now, our construction schedule is anticipated to be summer 2021 through the end of 2023, with some work kind of extending into 2024 just for cleanup, punch list type work. So the project will be staged over multiple years. We're looking at ways to either add in some interim completion dates and stage the job out. We're also looking at defining minimum access requirements for the corridor at all times. As part of the design build process, we will not fully develop maintaining traffic plans. That will be something that the design build contractor does. But what we will specify is minimum access requirements that the contractor will have to meet. Then during construction, we'll also have massive communication team in place for that. We will have traffic advisories, so we'll be emailing out anytime a contractor is changing lanes or closing lanes, impacting traffic. We'll send out traffic advisories to any of the residents or anyone on the listserv that we have information for. Just notifying them of those changes. We'll have a project website that will be updated routinely with any of the traffic changes or any information on the project. We'll also update the status of the project on the website as well. And then we'll have a project dedicated ombudsman during construction. That person will be dedicated to the job 24/7. They'll have a cell phone that they'll be responsible to answer anytime they get a call on it. And that'll be somebody that's boots on the ground that can address any safety issues or any concerns during construction. So it's not going to be a hotline or a voicemail. You'll actually, when you call the number, you'll speak to somebody working on the project who can get results or address concerns as they arise.